Lawrence, and tonight you are in for a treat. I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna give out too much for information because I don't want you guys to. I want everyone to tune in and to hear our guests. But if you're just tuning in or you're watching this later, my name is Arlene Lawrence. I am the host and the owner of Imagine Me TV. It's the show Real Talk, Real Life, Real Issues, Real People. We talk about the daily challenges of life, the different things that we go through, the struggles, the joys, the sorrow, the challenges, just real life. And I realize that even in my life, that sometimes people look at me and they just think, okay, they see me on Facebook, on social media, and they just like, oh, wow, she looks like she has a perfect life. I'm like, oh, if you knew the ins and the outs, you wouldn't think that way. So that's why this show, came about to just talk to people that are really going through real issues and that are open enough to say, you know what, I don't mind sharing my story because I'm not where I used to be. I'm not the person I used to be. God has taken me, to a different place. So this is what we're doing, and I want you. We're gonna take a break in a minute, and I think I'm gonna say a prayer today because God put that in my spirit to say a prayer. So I'm gonna say that right quick. But in the meantime, even while I pray, it's a good time for you to go ahead and invite your friends, invite your cousin, invite your family, whoever you can invite. I'm telling you, this show is seen all over the world. When we checked it out, I think a few months ago, I checked it, and we had people that tune in, and like about 50 different countries. But we had Japan, we had Mexico, we had Guadeloupe, we had Barbados, Dominica, Trinidad, Russia, Germany, Korea. I mean, all over the world. Italy, Spain, just London, Paris, Canada. I mean, everyone, all over the U.S. These are where the show is reaching. So we just want to say thank you to everyone that is, checking us out. And I'm going to just say a quick prayer. And then once I finish prayer, we're going to go into a quick commercial break. And when I come back, I will be talking to Miss Cynthia Sloan, MBA, born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. She's a happy mother of 6 children, the owner of Sloan Tiny Visionary Academy and Business School, and off the ground ministry consulting. She says she loves to teach and help others with their business needs. That is very, very, very true. So, guys, I'm just going to say a quick prayer. Father, we thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for this platform that you have given me, dear God, to be able to bring men and women to tell their stories and to empower our listeners and our viewers, and God in turn even be able to talk about their businesses and different things that they're going through in life, dear God. We thank you, and we just pray that this show will always be uplifting, edifying, and empowering, dear God. Father, anytime we stray from this, dear God, bring us back, dear God, because this show is to bring the best out of people, dear God. So we give you thanks and glory and praise. We're going into a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I will be on here with Miss Cynthia Sloan. Yes, yes, and we are back. This is Imagine Me TV, real life, real talk, real issues with Arthur Lawrence. See, I'm wearing orange and my guests were matching. Today is going to be another phenomenal show. I am so, I just thank God for the opportunity to be able to bring wonderful women, wonderful sisters on here, to just share their story and almost every Sunday we always run out of time. So I am not gonna waste too much time. Today we're going to talk about overcoming obstacles as a teen mom. But before I just go into it, I just want to let you guys know that when I live here, I'm going to jump back onto a 72-hour prayer marathon that we have going on. It has been phenomenal. So even as you're listening to this Facebook right now, if you have a prayer request, go ahead and put it in there because after that, we're going to be going back into the marathon and prayer. I just had to take the hour to have the show. So, guys, prayer works. So, Cynthia, my darling, welcome, welcome. It is such a privilege to have you. Thank you. I know, I don't know. I know we're gonna be just talking today, and it's gonna be phenomenal. And I truly just appreciate you and you being here today. So how you doing?
I'm doing
I'm
great.
doing
Thank you
great.
so
Thank
much
you
for
so
having
much for
me.
having me. It's all my pleasure. We talked and you're my I did consulting with you, and I mean what, since 2017, and everything was just pretty much by the phone. And I mean, we are family by in-laws because my niece is married to your brother, But then
Hmm.
I heard about you. I heard about the Sloan family and stuff, but never met. Then, based on my niece, I just said you were a good business consulting person. I just went with it, and it has been a really really great experience. But right now, tell us about yourself.
Well,
Well,
as you
as
mentioned
you mentioned
earlier,
earlier,
I love
I
to help
love to help
people.
people,
And
and
so that's
so
what I get
that's
to
what I
do
get to do
every
every
day.
day.
I
I
enjoy helping
enjoy
people
helping
start
people start
businesses,
businesses,
even if it's
even if
just
it's just
being
being
a
a
person with a
person with a
listening
listening
ear.
ear.
I just
I
love
just love
helping
helping
people.
people.
So, any
So
way I
any
can
way I
do
can do
that,
that,
I'm getting
I'm getting
involved.
involved.
Making phone
Making phone
calls, making
calls, making
connections, and just
connections, and
helping
just
people
helping
get where
people
they
get
want
where
to
they want to
go.
go. That is right. You see, this is what I mean because I said, tell me about yourself. You love to help people. You said, there you go again, the people. Today is about you. We're going to talk about people too. But I guess it's just when you have that gold heart, when you have that heart of just helping people. Because, like, for me, I will find myself, have the charity, and I can ask for things for all my charity, for my girls group and stuff like that. But when it's to ask for myself, I'm like, nope, I don't want to do that. And I guess that's just the heart that we have. So I was like, tell me about you, and she was like, okay, I help people, I listen to them, and that's really true. I have experienced that with you. So again, tell us about you. Tell your name. I'm from Ohio and stuff like that. The people you help, they go. I hope they appreciate you because that is a lot of love for people. You really have a golden heart, and God is gonna bless you for that. God is truly gonna bless you for that. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
I
I
am a
am a
mother of
mother of
six.
six.
I
I
am
am
also
also
one of
one of 7
7 children.
children.
I
I
grew
grew
up in
up in
Columbus,
Columbus,
Ohio, and
Ohio,
still
and
live here
still live here
today.
today.
I am
I am
almost
almost
37 years
37 years
old,
old,
and
and
I
I
enjoy
enjoy
playing the
playing the
violin.
violin.
I
Oh, I
enjoy
enjoy
painting,
painting, oh,
drawing,
drawing,
playing
playing
Tetris,
Tetris. What Tetris?
and
Is that
I
a game?
love
I love
Tetris.
Tetris. Oh, I don't think I know how to play that one. Wow, it's some
But
treacherous though.
yes, I
Yes, I
enjoy
enjoy
spending
spending
time with
time
my
with my
family,
family.
and
And
I
I
just
just
I
I
love
love
foreign
foreign
languages.
languages.
I teach
I teach
Spanish
Spanish
classes too.
classes too. Whoa.
So
So
I'm
you
I'm
sure
an
you're not
interesting
Jamaican?
box.
They say Jamaican has 9 jobs, and no offense to my Jamaican friends, but okay, go ahead.
Sometimes I
Sometimes I
wonder
wonder
if I'm
if I'm
Mexican
Mexican. Oh,
because
because
of the
maybe it's a
food.
mix.
I
I
thoroughly
thoroughly
enjoy the
enjoy the
food, the
food, the
culture,
culture.
and
Oh, okay.
everything with
Well,
Mexican and
for s-
Hispanic culture.
oh wow, for some reason, since I moved from Ohio here, I I think they all thought I don't know why though. Maybe because they think I'm from Dominica, but I had more Mexican Spanish friend. I That's how I learned to eat because in Ohio I don't think I really went to a Mexican restaurant or anything. It was when I came to Atlanta. I'm like, I don't speak Spanish. Almost all the models, the photographers, the designers, the stylists, the people I work with, they just love me. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm Mexican too. I'm a black Mexican. Okay, I'll deal with that. But it's they have a really great culture too. So more power to my friend. But yeah, you do a lot.
I do a lot.
I think is what month were you born?
April.
April. Okay. Also, I have a birthday coming up soon. Because I know, like
Hmm.
they say, like Pisces, March. We have a lot of jobs. So that we're very creative people, and I know sometimes my husband suffer with it because I always have a creative idea. And like even if we was
Hmm.
talking today, it can be 3 o'clock in the morning. It can be 2:30 at night. I have those ideas, standing. I have to like, you wait. I want to share an idea with you. But I truly believe that God has given us so many gifts, and a lot of
Yes.
people they don't tap into the real person that they are. They just figure, what, I have a job and it's safe, and instead of taking that step and going for it, they just stay in that place. And that's why we do this show, so we can empower them and encourage them. Say, what, there is more to life than just one thing, or there's more to life than challenges that you go through. And then that's what we're gonna be talking about. And I know you'll be real transparent, because a lot of people, when they go through certain things, they just like, sometimes it holds them back. So we're
Hmm.
gonna keep going. How did, like we said, the topic is overcoming obstacle as a teen mom. And I'll tell you, I'm really proud of you. When I talk to you and you talk about your children, I can feel, the love and the commitment that you had for them. So, how did becoming a mother at an early age impact you?
So I became a mother during my 12th grade year of high school. I went almost the entire school year pregnant with my first son. And so that was almost 19 years ago. He's almost 19 years old now. It really made me wake up.
Mm,
I realized that my life wasn't only mine anymore, and
yes.
that I had someone looking at everything that I did. My decisions made a difference, and it was important for me to do the right things.
Okay.
It really changed me. I didn't have the party life where I got on campus and just drinking and all that. I didn't have that kind of life. I had a life where I had to be home to take care of my son. I had to work, and I was also going to college. And that is even a story by itself. I wasn't going to go to college when I found out I was pregnant. I was going to just work. And I had a mentor at the time that told me, no, you're
Oh
going to
wow.
college. You worked hard enough all these years. You have goals. You wanted to go to college. You're going. So she basically told me I was
She's like, you're
going.
going. You sound like me, like you're going.
Yes. And she actually had the application in hand, and she said, okay, fill this out and turn it in. Yep.
That's
And so,
that's
long
amazing.
story short,
Mm.
hmm hmm
That's amazing, and I think that's why, even as we have this mentor, that's why you and I today we give back, to women and to people. But what was that experience like, though, being 17 and being a single mom? That this is pretty much, because when I look at my daughter at 17 or my son, I'm like, this is a child. How Tell us a little more about that experience. And maybe that, like, there might be a young girl that might be listening, or might go back and watch the show on Roku or on Imagine Me TV, and they just figure, you know what, I just want to live my own life. It doesn't matter. I just do what I want. Talk to them a little more about that experience, being a mom at such an early age.
I was afraid. I was afraid that I wasn't prepared to be a mother. I was afraid I wouldn't be a good mother. I was afraid that I would miss out on many things because I was still young and I couldn't hang with my friends anymore, or it would be more complicated in order to do so. Um, I really felt like I made a big mistake. I wasn't married, and I wanted to be married, but I was not. And I had very low self esteem. And that really stemmed from some things that I dealt with during my childhood.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And that is why it's important, telling your story, because and maybe not every young girl, because a lot of young women, some we blame them, and we're just like, oh, why don't you listen? Why do you do this? Why, you don't need a boyfriend? This, but we don't know what the underlying issues are, because not every young woman talks to her mother. And one thing I can encourage mothers to do, even you with young daughters, be very open with your daughter. Like my daughter,
Mhm.
I was very open with her, maybe too open sometimes. But even when it comes to, I was raised in a Christian home, and some of the values I brought back into her, some of the things I taught her, some were kind of old school and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
some of them were still relevant, when, like, even going to parties and going out, even as a teenager and stuff. I did not send them to school parties. They did not do the school dances and stuff like that, maybe until they were
Mhm.
16. Because for me, I don't care if you get mad at me, it's my duty to protect you. And I think a lot of parents with young kids today, and I see it happening, where I think too much leeway is given to children today. Really, really too much. We have to be very careful, because for me, I did not want the kids to. You don't need to like me, but I'm gonna raise you right, because when I raise you to put you back into this world. So I'm,
Mhm.
I'm actually doing you a favor. So they could have been, they were mad and upset and like, oh, letting us have fun. For me, as far as I could protect you, I protect you, because I know when you get older, you can do whatever you want. But as long as I'm the one that's protecting, that have to take care of you, you live under my roof. There are rules that you're going to follow. And it was hard, because sometimes it would hurt me. That I was like, oh man, all their friends are all over the place. But then when I look back and I look at them and I look at the friends, I was like, oh, I'm glad that I did that. Also,
Mhm.
because of my mom was really strict, and she protected me as much as she could until I went to New York. She was no longer there to protect me, and I got molested there. For me, that put such a fear in me. I was so afraid I would not let my daughter out of my sight. I mean, I did not trust, and honestly, I did not trust any person. Her dad was okay, and I think maybe my dad might have been the only other person. I didn't trust uncles, cousins, nobody. Because it was, for me, it was someone that I know that was very close to the family. And I'm like, it's my duty to protect my child. And some of the stuff that we go through, we learn from it to make sure, we can protect our children, or even protect other young ladies. So I really empower you, and I'm encouraged even by you coming forth to share your story. And we know that it's going to help some other young girl to know that even when your parents say, you know what, abstain, you're 15, 16, 17, you're still a child. You don't need to be hanging out with boys and whatever. Trust me, I'm in my 50s, and you have time. You have time. So
Mhm.
what about peer pressure though? Do you think there was peer pressure that made you feel like you had to live a certain lifestyle, or
Well, I also grew up in a home where I knew who God was. We went to church up until I was about 16 years old. And so I knew right from wrong.
mm-hmm,
I just didn't make the best choices. And so I felt like I had pressure from home. I had pressure from, other people and the things that they decided to get into. Some were my friends, but mostly pressure from who I decided to be with.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was a relationship, just having pressure coming from those angles.
Okay. So
Like, hmm
because when we talked, you said that the person was much older than you. Do you think that even sometimes the older guys kind of entice the young girls? Do you think they take it's what would I say? I don't want to say malicious. It's like they know what they're doing. Like, okay, they know this is a 17-year-old. I am 25. I'm 26. I'm 30. Whatever.
hmm
I'm gonna try to get her. Do you think it's something that like they planned it that way to go after the young innocent girls?
Honestly, I don't think so. He knew how old I was, and I knew how old he was too. So it was just kind of like I was in a space where I didn't love myself enough to set boundaries. It was
Okay.
just kind of like, okay, he likes me. And I
Mm.
really was that kind of dingy type of girl where if I was getting acceptance from somewhere, I would take it. I'm
Mm.
like, great, because I felt so bad about myself anyway. And so if someone liked me or expressed an interest in me, I'm like, oh my God, well, great.
Wow.
And I think about it now, and I'm so thankful that I don't think that way anymore about myself.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel good about who I have become.
Mhm.
I'm okay with how I look. I don't need a bunch of people whistling at me or calling at me. I'm okay just being me. And I'm okay knowing that I'm living a life that's pleasing to God.
Yes.
And because of that, so much transformation has taken place within me.
Very good. Very good. And
And
I think
so anytime I hear about someone struggling
mm,
with their confidence, I want to help them.
very good. That's good. And
Mhm.
one thing I've learned is that some of the experiences that we go through, we fight through it, and then we are able, to help other people.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Wow.
Arthleen, you mentioned how you um how you experienced childhood sexual abuse. I did too.
Mm,
And so that led me on the path to even be active in that way.
mm,
And so a lot of people didn't know that, but it was just something I knew that was it made me angry, it made me embarrassed. But when I got older, I realized why I was clinging to so many different men.
yeah.
I really just needed to recognize that there was a father in heaven that loved me, that I could have consulted, that I could have, cried my eyes out to
Yeah.
and shared my heart with, but I pretended like he didn't exist.
Oh wow. Wow. And see, that is why we want to share our story because even to this day, there's still a lot of young girls that are getting molested. And sometimes we think, sometimes they start when they're small, but like for me, I came from the islands. I was very naive and innocent. I traveled, I knew certain things, but then I wasn't street smart because I was like 19 when it happened to me. Because people say like, "Oh, what? You're 19," but when it's someone that you trust, you're like, you literally don't know, and then that's why we want to urge and encourage young girls and even the mothers because I've spoken to some girls that said they would tell their mother and they would not believe them, so that is why we do what we do because that can carry you through your life.
Mm-hmm.
For me it was not just the molestation, but I had a lot of religious beliefs that really made me feel that I had to be a certain way. That in order for me to even date or be with a guy, I had to be married, and that caused me to get married really young. I got married at what 22 years old for the all the wrong reasons. But I thank God. And again, I got married young. I stayed married for 20 something years, going through really like verbal abuse and just again, it's just a cycle. But because it's not just me that was a hurt person, my ex was a hurt person, and neither one of us knew how to get help. And then you get two hurt person come together, and it just but I just thank God that even through all of this, I the one thing that really kept me was my faith in God. And I was able to just pour into my kids. And because of what happened to me, I had vowed, I'm like, I'm going to protect my sons, and not just my daughter, because I protected. I did everything I could to protect my sons and my daughter. And I made sure I let them know this is what is possible. Until my daughter, and I started them very young, and that's for parents. I'm not telling you what to do, but this is what I did with all of them. But my daughter, she was like 3 years old, and I let her know. I said, when you go to your aunt's house, and I'm not afraid to say it, because not that I thought they were bad people, but that was what I had to teach. I said, when you go to your aunt's house, the only person that can take you to the bathroom is auntie or grandma. I don't care whoever the other person is. No, none of the guys
Hmm.
can take you. Um, my daughter, as soon as she get into the house, she screamed out. She's like, auntie, uncle, grandpa, they can't take me to the bathroom because only the ladies can take me to the bathroom because my mommy don't want them to
Hmm.
see her. I was like, oh my god. But she heard it, and we made sure that happened. Even I did not allow sleepovers. I knew who I was, and I knew I would protect anybody's child. So I'm like, you can have sleepovers, but I'm not gonna send you anywhere to have a sleepover. No, it
Uh-huh.
didn't. It didn't happen. Not while they were young and stuff. So we have to really protect our daughters, and even to parents, it didn't happen too. You cannot just trust your kids out there with these crazy people, or even family members too, because when this thing happened to them young, that takes their life into a spiral. So, but we're gonna go. What is it like raising six kids, working full time, and running a business? Wow. And you're 37 years old. You look good. You look fabulous. And
Thank
I mean,
you.
you help people. Go ahead, tell us more.
Honestly, it could be quite exhausting, but I know that everything that I'm doing is important.
Yes.
It's important for me to be the mom, just as important as it is for me to be the consultant and the employee and the teacher. You know, everything I do has a place in my life for a reason.
Yes.
So I don't ever feel like I'm wasting my time.
Mm, very good.
Um, yeah. And I love being a
Yeah,
mom.
I
It
mean,
doesn't bother me to have so many
oh,
kids.
very good. That's amazing though, because I've seen people that maybe have less kids, have a job, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't complain, but this is why it's empowering too. Because sometimes I think it's in your mind, what, I can't do this, I can't do that. Because even sometimes I feel like, oh, I can't do this, and at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I did it. So
Yeah.
it's amazing because I mean, you have the kids, you have a full time job, you run a business, you're a consultant, you help in the community. So that is really really amazing, and I really um, give kudos to you for that. But tell us more about the Sloan Tiny Visionary Academy and Business School, because that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. So I host one on one consultations with kid entrepreneurs and their parents.
Oh
And
wow!
I help them become entrepreneurs, give them tips on marketing, writing their business plans, getting their inventory and things like that.
Wow, that
And
is
so we
amazing.
use Zoom.
That is
Hmm.
good. Yeah, that's kind of like our organization, because we have the Imagine Me movement, but we have like the group with the girls, and that's one of the things we teach entrepreneur. But I like what you're doing, like helping the parents and stuff like that. That is amazing. Is that a non-profit or is that like a for-profit? Because I know you have a non-profit too.
That is a nonprofit organization.
Very good.
Hmm.
Oh wow. So maybe you can is there maybe someone may be listening, is there any support or any help that you need that for maybe someone that's listening want to go back and say, you know what, this is what I do, this is some of the support that I need. Talk to our viewers about that.
Yeah, so if you're interested in getting some help for your students, if they want to become entrepreneurs, find me on sloanstva.com and go ahead and fill out the enrollment form. It's very short, and I'll be happy to arrange a time to meet with you and your child.
Okay. You see, you are so concerned about everybody else. Because, again, when I ask you to tell us about yourself, you tell us about everybody else. Now I'm saying to, hey, if, in case someone is listening, if you need something for your organization, say, hey, guys, you know what? I need computers. I need some donation. You want to send me some donation? That is what we want to hear because you are doing. You are doing such a great job, and I want someone that might be out there because I have a foundation as well, and I want to be able to, help others, and that's what we do. So whenever I find someone for charity, especially when we're working with young people, and then you have such an amazing story to share with everything that you've been through and being able to empower these young people. I'm sure there might be someone out there that say, you know what, I want to pour into her organization. So tell us maybe some of the needs that people can do, whether it's financial or computers or whatever it is that you need for your nonprofit.
So I have began um, putting together funds to support the costs associated with registering a business and with helping the youth get inventory and things like that. So if you're interested in helping them, that would be amazing. I don't have any other needs at this time, but if you would like to sew and help another youth become an entrepreneur, that would be awesome.
That's great. That's great. And thank you for doing that from one nonprofit to another. This is what this is what it is about, and that's the beauty of it. That we've both been through crazy life. We've had tragedies and all kind of crazy stuff has happened in our life. We've raised family. I was married for 20 something years and then divorced and a single mom for 5 years and then had to raise my kids those years because these were like the most, to me, that was very important years because now I had teens on my, raising teens by myself. And I left Ohio and just moved to Atlanta like a crazy woman, and to be able to give back. That is what we want to empower people that no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've been through, God has a plan for each and every one of us. And sometimes people don't take the time, they let the challenges and the things that they go through just accept it like this is my life. No, 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 no. God created us for a whole lot more. But it's up to you to step out, and say, you know what, God, I'm ready. God, I may not be ready, but I trust you. So congratulations to you. And but you also have a for-profit consulting business, right? Tell us more
I
about that as well.
do. Yes, it's called Off the Ground Ministries Consulting. And that's where I work with adults and other businesses to help them at any stage of their business. So if they are just beginning, I can help get their business plans together, do market research, help them with marketing their products and services, also with budgeting and things like that as well. Um, if they are looking to expand, I help with that as well. Need to find funding, have a product that they need bottled, for example. And this
Yes.
is so, I just wanted to chime in. This is from one of my clients, Mimi's 331 Grandpa Sauce. But I
Oh,
can help
wow.
literally from start to finish,
Very good.
get some things together. Hmm.
Wow, wow. I mean, you have a powerful testimony, and I'm so glad that you're sharing it with me, before anybody else, so they can say we heard it on Imagine Me TV. It is, your life is very empowering, my sister, because you've been through different challenges. You have your MBA, you have two businesses, your children are well taken care of. You come from a great family, and I mean, I just give more power to you, my sister. This is really amazing, and it is when and you went through self-esteem issues, you know. So it's not like you just say, well, things happen when I'm okay. You went through that process, and then look at you today. You're not even 40 years old yet, and you've done all of this, and you're still doing a lot. I know you've helped me personally, you know,
Yes,
personally.
ma'am.
Even sometimes I have a business question, something to do with the paperwork and stuff like that. Because everybody know I don't like things like that. Anything to, you know, create a show or something, a dress or style, I'm good. But whew, numbers and things, is not my forte. And but you've always been so patient with me, and I ask questions, and sometimes late nights I'm like, I don't understand that. Okay, I need to turn this, and I need to do this, and you're just very patient, and that's really amazing. So I know that God is just going to open doors for you. That God, whatever it is that you believe in Him for today, and because of the beautiful heart that you have to help people, you know, and because of your love for people, because every time we talk, you talk more about everybody else than yourself, you know. And I might do it too. One day we're gonna take a nice vacation. We're gonna go back to Paris and just hang out and forget all the people for like at least 2 weeks or so. Which I know we might call the children and stuff like so and which brings us to the other question: why do you do what you do now?
I actually had a period in my life where I was homeless. And so when you go through something like that where you lose everything and you need all the help in the world, right? At that moment. And I was homeless going through a divorce. Um, no car,
Wow.
no job.
Wow.
I'm saying when I left, I had a bag of clothes and my children. That's what
Wow.
I had. And so I know how it feels to need help. And
Amazing.
if I'm able to help, if I have the skills, if I have the resources, I'm going to do something to help make someone's burden a little bit lighter.
Wow.
And,
You know
you
what? Even
know,
with lighting up Facebook, which I like the way that we do the show, because even if it's we're live on TV, but then we're able to carry it through Facebook and also through what's the other place, YouTube. But let's see, because I think I could see on the screen that you getting some um friends there. So let's see. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, Cynthia, you are an inspiration to so many. Yes, and that's from Mommy Sloan, which, yes, she really is Mother Sloan. I know she's inspired me. I am older than her, but then even just every time she talked to me, and she will just calm me down because I freak out really when it comes to business stuff. And yes, she is. Ayana Revels, Brenda Travel, awesome. Cynthia Stone, MBA, awesome testimony. Let's see. We have your story has inspired so many women who has been there, and now it's going to inspire women all over the world, because I mean, this once we're done, this is gonna be on Roku. We just don't know who's going to be on Amazon Fire, on Imagine Me TV, 24 hours a day. It's gonna be there. So I really am thankful for your story, because that's what we want to do. We want to be able to inspire others before a story. Not to say like, when I got hurt and I'm just gonna keep it to myself. No, and ladies, if you're on there and you have a story to tell, right now she's in Ohio, I mean in Atlanta, in Fayetteville, Georgia, and we want you to tell your story, because we have, whether you're 17 or 20 or 50 or 70, we want to talk to you, because even the word of God says iron sharpens iron. They say like the older ones to help the younger ones. That's what we want to do. Some of the challenges that we have, if we can help avoid a young girl from going through it, we can't stop everybody. But if we can help them, that is what we want to do. So I really do thank you. Are we gonna keep on going? So with all of that though, and I know I have felt that, but have you ever felt like giving up? Tell us about it.
absolutely. Many times, actually.
Yes, I know. I've known.
Sometimes it just gets too hard. Sometimes I feel like it's so much. It could be something going on with my kids that I need to address. that, where there's a lot of pressure there, or the demands of having clients and having so much responsibility could be just a whole lot. But I'm not going to give up
Yep.
because I know that there's purpose to my life. People need me.
Yes.
And I know that what I offer and who I am is needed not only in the world, but needed in the kingdom of God. I don't mind being a representation of Christ. I don't mind sacrificing my time and my resources to help somebody else. Um, and I can't effectively teach people to move forward and to do things in their lives if I won't even do it. So it's kind of like you have to be a first partaker of what you're saying.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. And I wish you were here. I'm gonna give you some virtual flowers.
Oh,
These
thank
are
you.
flowers for you, my dear. Receive them. Virtual flowers. You deserve
I
them. You
received
deserve
them.
them. Virtual flowers. Tell my guests. Oh wow. And then I'll drink the virtual wine. When I visit Ohio, we'll definitely, because I said, whenever I come to Ohio, I'm gonna maybe come there for a couple weeks because my grandson is over there, and just we'll do another live show over there. But thank you for all your sacrifice, and a lot of times people look women like us, and sometimes they may have heard our story, like me. They may have read my story through one of my books. And see, that's the thing. A lot of times you go through all these challenges, but if you will take the time to say, you know what, I am not gonna let what I've been through, determine who I become.
Hmm.
Yes, things happened to me. It wasn't my fault, but I'm going to, if I have to drag whatever, I'm gonna get through it. And sometimes you don't always think that way, but if you just have that, you know, even that empowerment, and that's where we come in to just tell that woman or that young person, you know what, it's gonna be okay. It might not be the okay you feel like, because I never thought that I would be sitting here today with my own TV show, travel the world doing fashion shows. I've written 4 books. I have my own sewing and fashion school thing that I wrote, and I have a thriving nonprofit. I even I was divorced and stuff. Then God sent a wonderful man into my life where we're doing ministry together and business together. You just never know. You have to continue to stay with it, and that's where we just want to continue telling our stories and encourage other people, because sometimes they see our life and they see us on Facebook and place and they just think everything was perfect. No, it was not perfect. We just stayed the course. Many times we wanted to give up, but we're like, you know what, I have to tell myself giving up is not an option. And stuff, there were times I
Yeah.
felt like I wanted to take myself out, and but
Hmm.
that wasn't the answer either. And that's why even for people that are suicidal and stuff like that, I really feel for them, and that's another ministry that God has given me, to work with people that are suicidal or mental health, and we're blessed with our new girls group, which is the Imagine Me movement, and they're girls from 13 to 19, and we work with them. We teach them to cook, we teach them sewing, we teach them hands-on training. That way, even if they go to college or whatever, they have something else that they can do, like you, part of it also. If they do the sewing and they want to start a fashion business, they can do that. We have their we may call on you to give us some business, give them some business classes or something like that. But
Hmm.
and then we have all these volunteers that are just helping to empower these girls. That is what we need to do as women, to pour back into the lives of young women, because they
Yes.
need it. They need it. Yes. So tell us, please, who or what motivates you to keep going?
Oh my goodness. God Himself. Having a
Yes.
relationship with God, knowing that He has been keeping me through so much and keeping my children. Whew,
Wow.
He has been good to me. And that's enough. If I know that He's pleased with what I'm doing,
Yes.
that's enough inspiration to keep doing it.
Yes.
Along with my family, my cheerleaders, my children, some close friends, my church family, I'm so thankful
Yes.
just for all of the support that I do have.
Well, go ahead and give a shout out to your family because I'm sure they're listening. If you want to say a shout out to any one of them, go ahead.
Absolutely. I love you guys, Mom, Robin, Pumpkin, Mick, Brian, Anthony, Bub. I love you guys. Thank you for everything, for the highs and the lows in my life, the times when you guys have had to help me with my children. I can't ever repay, all the things you guys have done to support me and my children. And even my friends that have supported me with my business ventures, that may not be interested in what I do, but they're like, well, I'll watch or I'll be there.
Oh, wow.
That means a lot to me.
Praise God. Praise God. You know, and see, you appreciate what others have done for you, and now you're giving back. And even all those that have helped you too, I know that God is going to help them as well. You know, sometimes we think that we have to give people $1 million to help them, but sometimes just listening, just being there, just from your mom saying, you know what, I'll babysit for you, or your brother saying, you know what, I'll watch the kids, or someone saying, you know what, I'll drop you over here, or just call. Sometimes it's not a lot that people need, just if we can just be there for them. So I give a shout out to your family and your friends that have been there for you, because a lot of times I think that's what even our young people needs, and that's what you're doing right now. You're able, because you're so appreciative, you're able to pour back into other people's life, and I am a recipient of you, pouring into my life, and just even encouraging me too. Even I'm the empowering diva. I am a um, inspirational speaker. I have spoken all the way in England and Dominican area, but then sometimes I speak to you, and then you're able to, even pour into me, even though you're much younger than me. So God has an amazing purpose for your life, and you
Yes,
have not
ma'am.
even touched the surface of what He's going to do for you and the places that He's going to take you to. The things that happened to you, it wasn't your fault, and it wasn't that, well, it's because your family didn't care for you, because sometimes I know sometimes kids blame parents and stuff. The people that hurt us, that was on them. They decide to do that. Our families did the best that they could to protect us and do as much as they could. But that's why when it happened to us, we try to say, hey, we tell families, oh, there's another step that you can take, just in case you don't know, because sometimes they don't know, you know.
True.
But to know that even when all these things happen to us, they don't judge us, but they rally around us and then they support us. And it's family is amazing. Family is amazing, and I'm glad that I know my niece is married to your brother. And they have beautiful children. I know I have not met a couple of them, but I can't wait to go and visit them so I can meet them. So I am truly grateful to you, like on different levels, and I know that you're going to continue with the work, and whatever your heart's desire, God is going to give it to you. Because again, if for anyone that was there from the start of the show, I asked her about herself. She started talking about the people that she helped. I was like, no, it's not about people. That's the heart and the dedication that she has towards people, and God is going to bless you for that. And not just about God, but you are going to continue to inspire other women to come forth and tell their story, because some of the people that you're reaching, there's some other women that you they might reach other women, so you are an inspiration to those that are listening, to those that are watching you, and even to your children, because they're watching mommy go through this. But look, mommy is on top. Mommy has an MBA. Mommy has two business. Mommy
Yes.
works full time, and mommy takes good care of us. I talked to you yesterday. You were out in the park with the children. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, you are doing an amazing job. You're a great mom. You're a great friend. You're a great daughter, and you're a great businesswoman. You're a great woman of God. So continue with the amazing work. And we're not
Thank you so
talking. So the
much.
next question, we don't want to just make it look like regrets, but what do you wish you had done differently? So if there's a young girl that's listening, that you can speak to, and what do you wish you had done differently?
I wish I would have spent less time trying to prove myself to other people and spent more time just appreciating the children that were in my life at the different times because um, at 18 I had one, at 19 I had two, and then at 26 I had my third and I was married by then, but I had four beautiful girls in a row. But sometimes just taking a moment and slowing down
Yeah.
and saying, you know what, the only one I need to impress is God.
Yes.
As long as he's pleased with me,
Yes.
that's all right. You don't have to like my business or
Mm-hmm.
me or anything that I have my hands in, but my father does. And that's all I needed.
Yes. 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 And then yes, that is so true. And if we can find a way to instill that into our daughters, into our son, because I think that that is one of the big problems that we have, because a lot of young girls, and I know sometimes when they go to school the peer pressure is there, because you have this other kids, they have this and they have that, and then you're trying to raise your kid a certain way, but when they see this stuff in school they figure, okay, you're not giving me everything that I want, or you can't this, and then that causes them to go a different way. But we have to excuse me, continue, and not even as we are adults and we're parents, to say, you know what, I'm just gonna raise this child the way that God has showed me how to raise my child. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna give, and what I used to do with my kids, I used to explain to them, because we lived in Lewis Center. So everybody, the school that they went to, everybody was rich. And if they come up and say, well, this kid had this, I'm like, no, it's not that I can't afford to give you this brand name shoes or buy you something for $250, but I am not gonna do it, because it it's a pair of shoes. You don't really know. I go to TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx, they knew my name at TJ Maxx and Marshalls in Lewis Center. I'm telling you. I said, we can get you a nice pair of $39.99 shoes, and you go to school. There's no holes in it. We get some boots. You can still walk in the snow. I'm not going to give you those. No, no, we're not going to do that. And I had to teach that to them. And if I do buy them something that was brand name, I'm like, well, you know what? It's gonna have to be on clearance, and I'm not ashamed to do that. They had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
brand name stuff, but I was like, it can be next season. It's still closed. You're gonna, and that did not. I don't think that made a huge difference in their life. But a lot of times the kids are under so much pressure, and then sometimes the parents, we try to please them and say, no, I need to just give it to them. No, we need to be very mindful, be very careful how we train them, because now we're putting these kids back into this world that's gonna think, what, I gotta get this, and if I don't get it, I'm just gonna take it. So
Mm-hmm.
we're just that's just my 2 cents there. So I thank you again for saying that. As a young black mother and a business owner, do you get support from your community? And tell us more about it.
I do. If I ever need a babysitter, I have a list of who I can call,
Wow,
and I have a
wonderful.
list of who I cannot call. And both lists are equally important.
Oh yes.
but um,
Wow.
but seriously, with living in Franklin County, there are so many resources available. I'm not a homeowner yet, but I do know my neighbors very well, and I know that they look out for me. They're very friendly. I wouldn't have a concern if my kids were playing outside.
Very good.
It's just nice to live in a community where I'm not panicking about what could happen because of what takes place in the neighborhood.
Very good.
They go to good schools, and so I have a constellation of support, those go-to people, even in the schools for all of my children. They're in, let's say, one, two, three different schools.
That's
But
good.
just knowing who I can talk to, I have those people.
Okay. But what about the business? Because I know when we talked earlier, you said you were doing well in business. Do you feel like you get a lot of support, especially like from your black community, where people hire you and stuff like that?
Actually, yes. Most of my clients look like me.
See, I need
I
to find. I need to come back to Ohio then. I need to find out. We need to exchange information.
Yes. And I think the pandemic is a big reason for that as well.
Mm.
Yes. And I
Okay,
can
that's
explain that if we have time.
yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So, during this pandemic, many people have lost jobs, have wanted to come up with innovative ways to make additional money, and they wanted to go with someone that they could trust, at least that they can ask questions. Some of these are people that I used to work with. Some of these are friends from years ago and things like that. But they look at me as someone that they can trust, and I really appreciate that. And as a result, I've helped many people start businesses during the pandemic, build their websites for them, um, and it's been wonderful.
That's good. That's good. And again, you see, the Word of God say that your gift will make room for you. Um, I know for me, I think one of the problems I had, I was like you, but just that my giving was like a lot more expensive because, you know, I'm a fashion designer. So when I moved to Atlanta, I'll be doing all this $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You're doing all this show and spending all this money creating new pieces and with promise that never manifested. I mean, right now I think I have like over 500 dresses in my boutique, but they're all like sample sizes, and I can't really sell them. I wear them as much as I can, and whatever I can, but um, now I'm learning that you have to differentiate business when you're doing business and when you just want to help and stuff like that. And that was a really hard lesson for me to learn because the last 5 years, I think, and then I literally wanted to quit one time because like I don't want to do this anymore because it put me in debt working with people that I was helping, build their business and doing shows and events and stuff for them, but not getting anything in return. Um, and like you said, we've really to the pandemic. Now I'm looking at things differently where I'm shifting my business a little. And I'm just believing that God is going to send the right people for me. So I still give a lot, but I'm just being a little more strategic and being a little more careful, how I do things. But that
Hmm.
is good. And I think because of the heart that you have to help others, that God will just, put people into your path. And one thing that you said that stood out to me, and if that's a desire that you have, I truly believe that God is going to provide a home for you. He's going to give, if that's your desire to get a home, He's going to do that for you soon. Okay, let's talk about, well, I guess we kind of talk about that, but um, let's talk about a sisterhood. Why do you think some black women compete or do not support each other? Because I think sometimes we have that competition, and it's not even only in the secular; it's like in the church too. So, have you ever experienced any of that, or where they talk behind your
Woo.
back, or can you talk on that a little bit?
Sure. I think a lot of the jealousy and competition can come from a place of just not really knowing who they're talking to.
Mm,
They can have just this one-sided view. Like, I know you as this person that goes to church and you have your kids and you're helping people, but they don't know, they really don't want to be in my shoes, because if you're in my shoes, you get the story, you get the pain, you get the brokenness,
everything.
you get the challenges, the trials, the nights when you're in prayer about your children, or praying about how things are going to work out, and those
Yes.
hoping that you're under things. It's There's so much
Wow.
they don't know the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess maybe that's what it is. Maybe for some of them too, because I'm like, if you know what I've been through to get where I am, you would not want to compete. And I always believe there's always enough for everyone. And there, what I think is okay is like if you see a sister that's doing well, it's like man, I want to. do well like her. That's a healthy desire to have. But it's not where you like, oh,
Mhm.
you have to pull that person down. You have to talk behind them, and that is one of the things that we need to do better in our community. Like, even though if I can help you, I'm gonna help you. But don't go to someone where you know you're deliberately going to use them and drag them down, or if it's in your power to help the person, to just don't help them because you don't want them to do better. For me,
Mhm.
I when I had my store in the other city, I was like, man, everybody I come in contact with or I help or whatever, they go on and start their fashion business or open a store. They're doing better than me, you know. And I did not feel any resentment to that because it's like, okay, you're doing something. You're helping them, do something, And that's what even as women going forward we want to do: create a sisterhood where I can call on you and I may say and the thing I would like for us to do, maybe I can call on you and say, you know what, hey, I need a business plan, but you know what, this is the budget I have. And you'll say, you know what, hey, you have $500, yeah, I'll work with you. But then when I start making money, I should be able to come back and say, you know what, you helped me this day, here's a $10,000 check. Or pay it forward and say, you know what, I'm gonna help someone else because someone helped me.
Mhm.
This is what we need to do.
Yes, I agree. It
Very
is.
good, very good. Um, and I keep talking about sister because that's what women, um, we are a lot more powerful than we know. A lot of us in today's age, we're starting a lot of business, and I find that there's always a lot of competition or jealousy and stuff going around, and we want to just be talking about that. We'll have that conversation that maybe someone that may be a recipient of the jealousy and the competition can say, you know what, hey, it's not just about me, maybe, or the person that is doing, they can see, you know what, this is not right, because this is real stuff. Because I know I have gone through it over and over and over again. So from one sister to another, business owner to another, what do you think is lacking in our race, culture, and community? And I'm talking about the black race because I know that we're the minority, and I want to, even if I have a lot of Caucasian friends, I have Caucasian in my family. So, and I love them. I love everybody. But I know I want to make sure that our black mothers, our black daughters, or the chance that I did not have, that now our young daughters can have it, our nieces and nephews. So that's what I'm talking. What do you think is lacking in that race, in the culture and the community?
I think a lot of times it's a lack of resources and also not wanting to admit when we need help.
Mm. Okay, so even with, and again, that's why I go back with the resources too. What we need to do, and I've said that, like, if we know that we have a resource that another person can use, let's come to work together. Work as a team.
Yeah.
That's another thing. They will work five different places when we can come together. Like I have this show. I mean, instead of you guys going on CBS and whatever those other names are, support her sister. Because then when you pay me to put your show on here, the money goes back into the community. We again, it's going to employ somebody because we need someone behind the scenes. So a lot of times, like for me, sometimes I will patronize some business. I will buy food that I really don't like. I might not even eat it, but it's like I just want to support this business. I got so many soaps, and I don't just do put anything on my face, and
Mhm.
I got so many of these things that I just wanted to support the business, and that's what the word I want to get out to our people. Let us support each other. Let us support the young entrepreneurs that are coming up. Let us be role models for them. Let us be mentors for them, so that the pattern
Yes.
that we were taught that we're gonna break that cycle. We're gonna break that cycle. I keep hearing say, well, they don't give us anything. We're not gonna wait on anybody to hand us anything. We may not have the same resources that they have or the same, access to things, but with the little that we have, just like Jesus, that woman in that little mite, you know, that's what she had. She believed it, that we know the rest of the story. So it doesn't matter
Mhm.
what little that you have, but if we can come together and say, you know what, hey, let us support each other's business, and let us help build a better community, and let us not tear on each other, let us not fight each other, but let us, you know, do better because we can do better. We can do better.
We
So
can. Hmm.
okay, well, and we're doing pretty good. Let's see, we are pretty much. Oh, I think my clock is stuck. Okay, yeah, it was stuck, but I'm gonna just go for a little longer. I want to ask you this question. That's in closing. What advice would you give to someone that's going through pregnancy as a teen?
I would tell them life is not over.
Very good.
And while you may be delayed in some things, it could still work out. Don't lose sight of your dreams. You might have to modify them a little bit, but don't forget the things that you really want to do. Yep. As long as you have breath in your body, there is a later,
Yes. And
you know.
yeah, and then it's happened already. So it's like, you know what? There are resources there, and sometimes, you know, depend on the family that they, the parents might be tough on them or something, but we want them to know there are resources out there. There's help out there, you know. They don't have to go it alone, you know. Yeah,
That's
and it is good
true.
that you were able to, you know, continue school even through that. That's a blessing. Okay, okay. So
Yes.
last, in closing, can you give a word of encouragement, empowerment to a mother with children who's going to school, working a full-time job, and running a business? You know, because someone might be looking at it, they're like, "Wow, I can't do half of that." But just give a word of encouragement, because I believe we can.
What I would say is just hold on to God, hold on to your children, do things that are important to you, that have meaning,
Yes, self
do
care.
things that give life to you. I hate the concept of work yourself to death.
Mm.
My sister, work yourself to life. Do things that give you life, things that you enjoy doing. Find a way to help people because people will turn around and they'll help you too.
Yes.
So you just hold on, be the best mother you can be, but don't forget yourself.
Yes.
Don't neglect yourself.
Yeah,
Spoil
I think
yourself
that
sometimes.
a lot of us are guilty of that. I've been very guilty of that. That I just we keep going, we focus on everybody else, and we forget ourselves. But my sister, my friend, my consultant, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your story. And I know there's still more to come. I always tell my guests they come the first time they're gonna come, come back again. And I just want to thank you. I handed you your virtual flowers. They're still here, beautiful roses. For you right there.
Yes.
When I come to Ohio, you'll get it personally. But I just want to thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being transparent because I know your story is going to help a young woman, it's going to help a mother, it's going to help a sister, it's going to help a friend, it's going to help a person that wants to start a business and thinking, well, I don't have time, I got too much going on. So I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And guys, if you're just tuning in, I had the privilege of talking to Miss Cynthia Sloan from Ohio. She became pregnant as a teen, and but she did not let that stop her. She continued pushing. Even she has six beautiful children. She has an MBA. She has two businesses. She works full time. I'm telling you, your dreams are possible. So this is Imagine Me TV. This is real life, real talk, real issues. And we come on here. If you have a story to tell, you know what? Send us a email, or you can go to ligierbrand.com, or just check out the show. We're on Imagine Me TV. We're all over the country. We have viewers from all over the world. And we're on Roku. We have our 24 station our station on Amazon Fire, Imagine Me TV, Liga Brand. So we're everywhere. So I just want to say thank you again. Thank you to all our viewers that faithfully take the Sunday afternoon and hang out with us. Right now, like I said before, I'm going to jump into a prayer meeting that we're having for 72 hours. So even right there, if you need prayer, you can post it on there because we will see it and we will be praying for you. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening. I love you guys.